Bawat Pinoy, konektado. OFW Konek.
Magandang araw Luzon, Visayas at Mindanao sa namang parte ng mundo. Ako po si Wedge Kujamat. Ito ang programang siguradong walang homesick dahil dito bawat Pinoy konektado. Ito ang OFW Konek. Oy, middle of the week na. Pero ngayon alamin muna natin ang Balitang Konek ngayong araw para sa ating mga OFW.
Balitang Konek.
Magkakaroon ng dagdag na punto sa civil service exam ang mga kwalipikadong overseas Filipino workers simula 2026 ayon sa anunsyo ng Civil Service Commission. Sa bagong patakaran, bibigyan ng tinatawag na OFW Preference Rating ang mga OFW na makakakuha ng hindi bababa sa 70 na marka sa exam. Ibig sabihin, kahit hindi pumasa, maaari pa silang madagdagan ng puntos base sa guidelines ng ahensya. Nakasaad ito sa CSC Resolution number 2600596 na magsisimulang ipatupad sa Civil Service Exam sa August 9, 2026. Ayon po sa CSC, layunin ng programang ito na kilalanin ang sipag, dedikasyon at sakripisyo ng mga OFW. Sakop ng programa, mga OFW na kasalukuyang nagtatrabaho sa ibang bansa, dati nang nagtrabaho o may kontrata pero hindi pa nakakaalis ng Pilipinas, anumang uri ng trabaho o bansa. Para maging kwalipikado, kailangang may kabuang 5 taon na karanasan sa pagtatrabaho abroad mula Enero 1, 2000 o January 1, 2000 hanggang sa araw ng aplikasyon kahit hindi tuloy-tuloy. Kailangan din nilang kumuha ng Civil Service Exam simula August 9, 2026 pataas at makakuha ng marka na hindi bababa sa 70 kahit hindi pumasa. Sa bagong hakbang na ito, inaasahang mas maraming OFW ang mahihikayat na magtrabaho sa gobyerno at maipagpatuloy ang kanilang serbisyo sa bansa. Samantala, punta naman tayo sa ating foreign exchange kahapon May 5, 2026. Sa ating foreign exchange ngayon pong araw ng May 5, kahapon po yan, 2026, sa atin pong US dollars, meron tayong 61 pesos 45 centavos, ang Japan yen 39 centavos, ang United Kingdom pound 83 pesos 22 centavos, ang European Union o Euro 71 pesos 85 centavos, ang Hong Kong dollar 7 pesos 84 centavos, Singapore dollar 48 pesos 14 centavos, Saudi Arabia Riyal 16 pesos 38 centavos, United Arab Emirates dirham 16 pesos 73 centavos at ang Malaysian ringgit 15 pesos 55 centavos. Yan ang ating foreign exchange. May 5, 2026. Kahapon po yan. At huwag kayong bibitiw mga kakonek dahil sa ating pagbabalik, meron tayong espesyal na bisitang makakasama dito sa ating programa mula sa Embassy of Israel in Manila. Tutok lang, magbabalik pa ang OFW Konek.
Good news! Makisali at mag-enjoy sa Abante Golf Club, hatid ng Abante Billionaire Group. Gaganapin ngayong May 8, 2026 sa Philippine Navy Golf Course, Fort Bonifacio, Taguig City. Ito ay bahagi ng selebrasyon ng ika-39th anniversary ng Abante. Presented by Megawide, Philippine Charity Sweepstakes Office. Co-presented by Bingo Plus, Double Dragon Corporation, Valenzuela Servicio Center, Platinum Sponsors, Wilcon Depot, Pagcor, Gold Sponsors, DBP, San Miguel Corporation, NGCP, Prime Kitchen, FPJ Panday Bayanihan Part List, Hole-in-One Sponsors, Get Go Golf Cart, keep on going. For inquiries, contact at Tandem or Pete or Gino 0917-860-3790 and 0993-677-1692. Kita-kits mga ka-Abante! Ngayong Mother's Day month, ating alalahanin at bigyang pugay ang bawat ilaw ng ating tahanan.
Mabalos, Mami!
Ang mami ko ay maparaan.
Ang papi ko ay supportive.
Iba-iba mang lengguwahe pero iisa lang ang nais bigkasin. Mahal ka namin, Nanay. Happy Mother's Month! Isang taos-pusong pagbati mula sa Abante. Kasama mo.
OFW Spotlight. Nagbabalik po ang OFW Konek. We are back on our program, OFW Konek. At para sa ating OFW Spotlight, for our OFW Spotlight, meron tayong makakasama ngayong araw. We have a very special guest, the Ambassador of the Embassy of Israel in Manila, Ambassador Dana Kursh. Ambassador, good afternoon. Welcome to our program. We're really happy you are here with us on our studio.
Gandang apple,
Hapon.
or as we say in Hebrew, which is really much easier for me, Achar Tzorayim Tovim. Wonderful to be here. Thank you
And
for
there's
having
one
me.
word I always remember, shalom.
Shalom, mabuhay.
Mabuhay, yes, because my mother worked as a caregiver for almost 7 years in Israel. So somehow she keeps on telling us her personal stories when she was working in Israel before as a caregiver. And before anything else, we would just like to say thank you very much, Ambassador, for gracing our studio and being with us here right now, live on our studio booth to discuss important matters pertaining to the OFWs in Israel. Thank you very much.
Maraming salamat for having me.
Now, let's proceed to our business ambassador. Can you first give us an update on the situation of the Filipino caregivers and the other Filipinos currently in Israel? And aside from caregivers, do we also have data or any information of the other jobs of the Filipinos hold in Israel?
Yes. So there are about 30,000 OFWs. That's the estimate in Israel. And if you compare it to the Middle East at large, they have 2.5 million, if I'm not mistaken. So it's not big enough, but getting there. But we need to bear also in mind that Israel is only a population of 10 million Israelis. So the majority of the OFWs in Israel are caregivers, like exactly like your mom, providing an amazing, compassionate work to our parents and grandparents, which is so crucial and so highly appreciated by the state of Israel and the people of Israel. And there are around, from those 30,000 OFWs, I think that there are roughly around 2,000 are in the hospitality industry, which means that they're in hotels. And those are the only OFWs official that we have in our negotiation, in our MOUs that we have with DMW, with the Department of Migrant Workers. We are, of course, looking forward to enlarge the numbers because they are highly appreciated, and we would welcome more and more OFWs. God willing, peace will prevail soon, and then we'll be able to resume the negotiation with the DMW and in partnership also with the DFA in order to have more. There are some other groups, but very smaller groups. For example, we have students that are agriculture students, Filipino agriculture students that are coming for internship in Israel.
Oh, good.
11 months internship program
Okay, good.
to be able to, you know how it is, you cannot, the same way that you cannot study swimming in class and writings, you have to touch the land and the soil in order to learn how to do agriculture. So there is a unique program that I had the privilege of leading when I was in the headquarters, and we are bringing 4,000 students from all over the globe. The
that's
majority of them,
Are
the
Filipinos?
most, of course,
Okay.
in previous years, it was even 900 out of the. It's almost 25% are from the Philippines.
That's good.
And it's basically there are exchanges of best practices, whether it's in the field, in the greenhouses, or in the dairy farms, and so on and so forth. And then they are coming here, and there are so many success stories of Filipinos who had started building their own greenhouses and other things that they are cultivating land here, and basically keep us on training the trainers. So it's another group. God willing, next year, when everything's settled down, in the next academic year, we will have more. And they work basically. They are not work. They are students. They are internship, but they are doing on-the-job training. So they come for 1 week, and the 5 days it's on-the-job training, and 1 day is studying in class the theory and the practice.
That's a very good program. You mentioned, Ambassador, having around 900 Filipinos for the internship program. How do you promote such kind of program? How do you choose the participants for that internship program?
We are working in full partnership with all the leaders that you have for education.
Okay.
So first and foremost, with TESDA, who has been Secretary Benitez has been a very, very strong partner.
Okay.
And he and his team are choosing from which universities or graduates that are relevant. And of course, the Agriculture Ministry is another partner of us. So in DWAR, which is the they have within DWAR, they have the ATA, their agricultural training institutions, and we are partnering with them, and 50 of the 900 comes that they are choosing them. And we had in previous years also partnership with SHED that we are now exploring to reignite again as well. So at the end of the day, it's partnership that the Filipino side, the Filipino leadership is choosing the students that wants to go, and many of them are applying, they want to go, and we are in charge of making sure that they get the best knowledge and practice and come back here and succeed.
What I've noticed, Ambassador, is that the Israel considers Philippines as a close ally or a very close friend, almost a family, right? But my question, I'm just curious, why do you consider Filipinos very special for Israel? And will you also continue to support the Philippines despite of some international political issues concerning Philippines?
The partnership between Israel and the Philippines goes way, way back. And it started even in the 30s with a very, very bold decision taken by President Quezon. Before the Second World War and the Holocaust, he chose to rescue 1,300 Jews from Europe and basically spare them from the Holocaust. And this was the first connection between Israel, between what becomes afterwards Israel, but with the Jewish people and the Philippines.
I see.
And it's a manifestation of the compassion and courage, because he took a very bold, it was against the Americans that were ruling till this nation, and it was against even his own opposition, and it wasn't, not many leaders had done so he took a very brave act. He wanted to even to save more. And this led to an open door policy, which means if you want to come now with your mom to revisit Israel, you don't need to issue any visa. And the same way, I don't need to have, if my mom wants to come and visit me and mainly my son, her grandson, she can come here with no visa whatsoever. So this is the beginning of this partnership. And when it comes to specifically to OFWs and to the caregiver, I can tell you off the record also, and I have to bear in mind also that I'm not that I'm also already biased because I'm becoming half Filipina in any way.
Okay.
But Israeli families are fighting to get a caregiver that is from Philippines, because I think that compassion and care is in your veins.
Okay.
There is something so that you feel it, that it comes from the heart, and so it gets to the heart. So I think this is another connection between our two nations, and the affinity between Israelis and the Filipinos. And of course, we also have the religion, which is both of us, the majority of Filipinos are Catholic or Christians in different denominations, and the majority, and we look at the same book, the Bible, the Old Testament, it's the same book. And for me, only after arriving here, I understood how much I was blessed, because I was living 10 minutes drive from Nazareth when Mary got the annunciation that she will become a mother for Jesus. And then I spent many, many years in Jerusalem, gave birth to my son in Jerusalem, so walked in the footsteps of Jesus for many, many times. And I took it for granted because it was my Israel. Arriving here and meeting people and that automatically says, you're from Israel, I have to come and visit, I have to walk in the footsteps of Jesus. Or they will say, I've been a million times. So this is another aspect of this connection.
Yeah.
And I think at the end of the day, if we want to crystallize, the things that connect us is three things: faith, family. For both our nations, family is very important.
Correct.
And respecting your elderly, taking care of them.
Correct.
And friendliness. Because this kind of compassion and it's the culture. I feel at home here. I'm able to host at my home so many leaders of the Philippines, and I don't feel that I'm hosting a secretary. I'm feeling I'm hosting a modest person that wants to come and enjoy my food, while I can come and enjoy his food or her food. And it really is this kind of three Fs: the faith and family and friendliness or friendship.
I'm curious
That's
to
it.
ask, Ambassador,
Yes.
what's your favorite Filipino food?
Oh, that's a big question. First of all, I will share with you that I was in your first gastronomy awarded city. I just came back last week from Iloilo.
Oh!
That UNESCO declared it to be the city of gastronomy.
Okay.
But I'm becoming very, very. I have a split personality because every province or city I'm coming into, I found something delicious.
Oh, I
So,
see.
and I know that there is a competition between the provinces.
Okay.
But I'm still biased towards my Filipina chef, which is she's Ilocano.
Ilocano!
So
okay.
she's making amazing food
Okay.
with an Israeli twist.
Okay.
And so I think that the Ilocos Norte is still very high. And so if specific in lumpia in every way,
Lumpia!
shape or form, I love. And alo alo.
halo.
I have a sweet tooth. So everything, also the toron, everything like you can. And with hello, I have to say I had some issues at the beginning. So I said, I'm taking off my Western glasses, and
Okay.
I'm not listening to the fact that it beans within ice cream. I'm just tasting it. And once I taste it, I understood that it's divine. And
Okay.
since then, instead of losing weight, I'm gaining more and more weight because your food is delicious.
Yeah, and wait, halo halo has different versions in the whole country, but still it is halo halo as long as it has eyes on
Exactly.
it. Yeah.
And I think that there is one called Beba, which is I have not tasted yet, but that should be my
it's
next.
one of the famous halo halo in
yes,
the country.
Yes.
Now, going back on our discussion, Ambassador, many Filipinos working in Israel are caregivers. You know, I'm having a goosebumps when I heard you saying that Filipino caregivers really have that unique care for the Israelis because of the Filipino hospitality. That's really number one. But do you still accept caregivers at this current time, especially that there is an ongoing conflict between the U.S. and the Iran? And what is the system that you implement for this setup for the meantime because of the current crisis?
Yes. Thank you for saying that, alluding to the current situation. As you know, that for the past 2.5 years, since October 7, 2023, Israel has been facing a war. A war that started by a Hamas terrorist organization, which is a Palestinian terrorist organization, that basically in one day massacred 1,200 of our people down south. Unfortunately, then it evolves to 7 different fronts. Many of those fronts are basically masterminded by Iran. And I think that 40 days ago, plus minus, on the 28th of February, both Israel and the United States, in two parallel but very coordinated efforts, took campaigns. One is called Epic Fury, which is the American, and the Israeli one is called Roaring Lion. And in those campaigns, we understood, based on intel that we had shared with one another, that there is an imminent threat from Iran. And it comes in three things. First of all, they have nuclear capabilities. They can enrich already uranium to 60%, and they're not doing it for peaceful purposes. They want to use it, God forbid, to basically, once they launch it in the Middle East, never mind if it's on us or another one else, it's gonna have a lot of casualties. The second thing is that they have ballistic missiles that they had been launching again and again, not just on Israel. And in this specific operation, even they launch it on Europe, in Cyprus and in San Diego Island, not far away from here. So they have their capabilities again, and they are creating those missiles more and more. And the third thing is that they are basically funding a lot of the terrorist organization. In our region, mainly two. One is the Hamas Palestinian terrorist organization, and the other one is Hezbollah, the Lebanese one. And they are funding them to keep on providing a front that are launching missiles at us. So there was an imminent threat because both the nuclear capabilities and their missiles, they had planned to put it deep underground, and then we will not be able to attack them, and they can continue on manufacture. So that was there was an imminent threat, and for that reason, the entire state of Israel, including the 30,000 OFWs and other Filipinos that are staying in Israel, have been protected by the state of Israel because we identify Israelis and foreigners, including the Filipinos, as part and parcel of us.
No discrimination.
No discrimination. They are part of our responsibility is to protect each and every one who's staying in Israel.
That's good to hear.
So the way we protect them, if you would like me to share with you, I can share with you. Basically, it's a kind of layers of protection. The first layer of protection is an app that you have. Each one have his phone. Every Filipino and Filipino. And then there is, of course, an English version that can give you alert if there's a missile arriving to your region, and even your mom. I think that she was living in Tel Aviv.
She mentioned it to me that there was an alarm, and then you need to go to the bomb shelter every time you hear the alarm because what do you call that one that intercept the missiles?
The Iron Dome.
The Iron Dome.
Yes. So those are the two other systems that are layers of protection. So the first one is this app that can, even if you're like, for example, if OFWs are married and he's living in Jerusalem and working there, and she's living in Tel Aviv, he or she can put the information to know about another city, so they can also know if their loved ones are protected. So this is one thing. So this is noticed. The second thing is what your mom had shared with you. This siren. We have the Israeli Defense Forces Home Front Command that will launch a very, very discomfort for the ears siren to make everybody alert that they have to run to a safe place, either a shelter or a safe room in an apartment. And this is provided for everyone, Israelis and non-Israelis alike, because, as I said, we're protecting everyone who's a guest or is living in Israel.
And the Israel keeps on improving its defense system.
Yes, and that comes to the third layer.
I see.
The layer of how smart and with cutting-edge technology our defense forces are. Thank God we had developed many things to protect ourselves. And the majority of missiles being launched either from Iran or from Hezbollah or from Hamas are being intercepted still before entering the area of Israel. But unfortunately, once in a while, they are trying also to make their technology more and more advanced. And then they were able to penetrate Israel, and people lost their lives, including from the beginning of this war, in the past 2.5 years, 8 Filipinos had lost their life.
I remember it was a Sabbath day.
Yes, exactly. It was a Sabbath and a holiday. And it's a holiday, it's an extra holiday of celebrating especially the Bible. And we were living in a tent because we are like reminding ourselves that we lived in the time of Moses in the tent before entering Israel. And then those terrorists, the Palestinian Hamas terrorists, had inflicted this massacre upon us. And at the same day of October 7th, 4 Filipinos lost their life. But I have to also mention the resilience and the bravery of some of the Filipinos that were saved. And they did not save just themselves. They saved also their elderly that they were taking care of, their ward. There is one story that you probably have heard about Camille Giselva.
Yeah.
She had a 94-year-old caretaker that she took care of her. And she was 94 or something like that. And she boldly and with a lot of courage stood in front of the terrorist and told him, take my money, take my phone, just let us be. And she was very, very persuasive, and he let them be, and both of them are alive. She was awarded by the Israeli president and also by President Marcos here for her bravery. And she is an amazing lady, an amazing manifestation of bravery and of resilience that I think that both the Israeli people and the Filipino people share alike.
Ambassador, do you consider this as a gratitude for the Filipino people? This kind of hospitality and the genuine care that the Filipino caregivers give to their patients, to their senior family members in Israel.
Do I consider it as a
Gratitude.
gratitude? I think that it's something that it's automatic for you. I meet so many Filipinos, and the compassion and care is very genuine, and it's very moving, touching. And I think that the one who choose to go to Israel, except of taking care of their own families and bringing back home remittances, and being able to provide schooling for the children and better life for their family and for the nation, they are doing wonders in Israel, and they are really taking care, and they are really doing it from the bottom of their heart, and they are determined to succeed, and they are very professional, and they really are dedicated.
And is that also the reason why the Israel government keeps on conducting different programs here in the Philippines to help the poor sector in the country? It's because of it's your one way of saying thank you to the Filipino people.
I think it is. At the end of the day, every diplomat in the world, not just Israeli diplomats, his aim is to better connect the two nations, the one he's coming from and the one he's posted at. But that's something generic. But I do identify when I came here, first of all, it was a dream that came true for me because it's the first time I'm an ambassador. So you are fulfilling my dream. I studied international relations.
Congratulations, ambassador.
Yes, thank you. So I studied international relations, and I was dreaming to become an ambassador one day, and I'm fulfilling my dream here in the Philippines. And it's an amazing place with more than 7,000 mini paradises, and with people that are amazing, and that I'm trying with my team of the embassy to find ways to connect. So this is a general, because you will sit here and an UK diplomat, he will say the same thing. I do identify that there is something between our nations. Maybe it's connected to the 3F, to the family, faith and food and friendliness. That is something that automatically draws us to one another. And then, of course, it comes from gratitude to President Quezon for the bold that he took. And then the only Asian state that voted yes for the establishment of the State of Israel in 1947, a year before Israel came about, was the Philippines. Wow. So this is another way of saying thank you. But I do think it's a two-way street, because when I did when I presented my credential and met your President Marcos Jr., he said the first thing he shared with me was his time in Israel many years ago, when he came to see also how agriculture is done in Israel, and the fact that we are doing the drip irrigation, which is an Israeli invention, and he still remembers that.
Oh.
And he said to me that I need to continue on the partnership when it comes to agriculture, and when it comes to technology at large, and to innovation, and to
Correct.
cybersecurity, and health and education. So I think we are two friends that identify that there is a lot that we can better the lives of the next generation of Israelis and Filipinos. It can be food security, it can be cybersecurity and others, and that's why we see this affinity. And if I may share another manifestation of how do we show our gratitude and how much the Philippines is important for Israel, is despite this ongoing war for the past 2.5 years, we had two ministers and one deputy minister that came here to the Philippines.
I see.
It was the Minister of Tourism that came in December 2024, when it was still a war.
Okay.
And it was the last year, on July 2025, it was the Minister of our Economy, our equivalent to the DTI, and both Secretary Roque and himself, Mr. Barkat, our economy minister, they both declared a beginning of negotiation for FTA, free trade agreement.
That's good.
Because both sides identified that in the partnership, the Filipino-Israeli partnership, it is a win-win partnership.
Correct.
That we can all benefit.
And it's a good thing because the two countries will benefit from the program, correct? Now,
Definitely.
Ambassador, I'm just curious to ask, because some reports from the international media keeps on saying that it was the Israel who was the first who started issues between Iran and the other Middle East countries. What's your statement with this, Ambassador?
The easy answer with one word is no. But I want to give some context, if I may,
Okay.
and even bring a bit perspective of history, because our problem is not with the Iranian people; it's with the Iranian regime.
Okay.
Because before 79, we had good friendship with Iran. My neighbor was living in Iran. I live in a village in the north of Israel, and my neighbor lived there and basically built their roads
I
and
see.
the agriculture industry.
Okay.
So there was a lot of partnership back then. This Iranian regime that started in 79, the Ayatollah, Khomeini and Khomeini, basically they are fanatical regime of one faction of the Islam, the Shia faction, and they want to basically that everybody will be, all the Middle East will be working by those laws, and they had been for years and years calling Israel the small Satan, while calling the United States of America the big Satan, and they were calling the debt to America and debt to Israel in the same sentence.
I see.
And they are not just calling debt to Israel and debt to America. There had been a lot of terrorist attacks from Iran throughout the years on Israel, on American soldiers and on and civilians, and the same on Israelis. And as I mentioned, Iran is building nuclear capabilities and can enrich uranium soon to be fully operational. Second, it's building ballistic missiles that can go a long way until Israel, and they can, if God forbid, they will be carrying nuclear heads. It will be devastating for the entire world.
Okay.
And thirdly, they are the one, instead of giving money to their own people, their people are on other starvation, and in many occasions, like Iran in the beginning of this year, they even killed 30,000 because they want their regime to stay, and if you are demonstrating, they will simply kill you. So they are been funding this terrorist organization, both Hamas and Hezbollah. So they are the destabilizer of the world, and they are the one who causing a lot of problems, and we can see it, each and every one of us. And the fact that the United States and Israel chose to take this operation, especially now, despite all the challenges and the economic situation that it inflicts even on the Philippines, the rationale is that Iranian regime, the other people, are posing a threat to humanity.
I see.
And we have to remove this threat. The Iranian regime wants, for example, now that we will pay money if you want to cross the Hormuz Strait. This is something that is not applicable in any laws, and it's something that's another manifestation of the fact that they are really a big disabler, and they are the one causing a lot of the problems that we had to retaliate and like to stop them.
So to clarify things out, it is not Israel who started any issues in the Middle East. And on the other side, you are also helping the Iranian people who are starving. I remember there was a report that the Israel are donating some foods for the Iranians.
As I mentioned, our fight is not with the Iranian people, but the regime.
With the region.
And we still remember the friendship and the partnership that we had with the Iranian people. And we have many Iranian Jews that immigrated to Israel, and they are now leaders in the business sector, and they are amazing singers and
Wow.
dancers, and so we have affinity between the two
That's
people,
good
and
to
we
hear.
hope that this Iranian regime, with those revolutionary guard, will stop basically inflicting so much harm on their own people and the entire world.
Now, Ambassador, can you give us an update? What is the situation now, or the current situation now in Israel? Have the tensions and the war temporarily eased?
Yes, but it's a very fragile situation. I think that, again, Israelis and Filipinos are both two very much resilient people. Thank God you are not when it comes to war, but when it comes to calamities, you are resilient, and you can, even if there was a typhoon, you will keep on going back to normalcy very quickly. And unfortunately, I'm not comparing, of course, calamity man-made and the nature-made, but I have to tell you that the moment there is a glimpse of hope for peace, people in Israel are going back to normalcy. So it's a kind of a normalcy within an abnormal reality. So if you look at the last couple of days, people were in the beach, in the parks, going outside for coffee places, and Filipinos that are OFWs in Israel have done the same thing, because it's the same psyche. We are not surrendering to terrorism. That they will not prevent us from doing what we need. So the situation is still complicated. There is an ongoing negotiation between the Americans and the Iranians in Pakistan.
I see.
There's ups and downs, as you know, in every negotiation. Israel, with Lebanon, has the first time in more than 40 years negotiation done in the United States. Our Israeli ambassador there, together with the Lebanese ambassador, are even sitting in the Oval Office of President Trump and keep on negotiating. So, God willing, in the northern front, we will have peace as well soon. And Israel keeps on clinging to hope for peace. So I do hope that this fragile reality of calmness will continue, and then the tension that it rose around the globe will diminish, because as you mentioned before, your leadership, President Marcos and the entire leadership took very bold steps now in order to protect the Filipino people, not to be affected by the rise of prices. And I do hope that, God willing, once we have peace and stability, the prices will come down again to normalcy or even lower, and we can continue on the partnership between Israel and the
That's
Philippines.
actually my next question
Yes,
to
sir.
you, Ambassador, because the Philippines is very much affected with this energy crisis, with the war happening in the Middle East, and the number one reason of that is because of the rising prices of oil. Now, my question is there any programs that can be offered from the Israel to the Philippine government with this crisis, especially with the oil?
First and foremost, we are all being suffering from this rise of oil, both Israelis and Filipinos and Americans as well. But the prices are rising all over the globe and impacting, of course, the food chain because of fertilizers, and it's a grave impact on all of us. And Israelis and Filipinos are partnering all year long, including on those kind of occasion. And if I can give one example of how our partnerships goes when it comes to energy, In October, I had the pleasure of being invited by President Marcos to Malacanang
I see.
with just two other ambassadors, the American and the Australian, to celebrate the signing of 8 new contracts with companies to excavate oil and gas.
Oh, good.
And one of the companies is an Israeli company.
Okay.
Only one out of 8 companies that are American and Australians are Israeli, that are partnering with a Filipino partner,
Okay.
trying to find in Palawan area, in the Sulu Sea, either gas or oil. So I'm keeping my fingers crossed that they will be able to be
Looking
successful.
forward on that program because it will be a very big help for the Philippine government and especially to the Filipino people. Now, moving forward, Ambassador, I'm just curious to ask this one because you know what is really happening in the Philippine politics now is really disturbing. What is the position or the reaction of the Israeli government on the current political issues happening in the Philippine government, especially with the impending impeachment trial of the vice president, additionally with the issue of the corruption in flood control?
I think that it's both Israel and the Philippines are democracies, and a democratic way of ruling the nation. I think it's the best way, but it does have flaws, and we need to have checks and balances. And I think that both in Israel and in the Philippines, we are encountering different kind of either incident that has to be looked in depth into, and we are doing so. So if I'm looking even back home, we are in the midst of work, and my Prime Minister Netanyahu, has been trialed on some issues of allegedly taking cigars as president or something like that. And the fact that our Prime Minister, in the midst of war, still goes under a jury and gets into the trial and understand that the rule of law has to be observed alongside leading the nation. I think it's the same here, but there may be issues, and I'm reading the paper as you. It's not my nation. I'm just a guest here, but I see the commotion, and I see also the steps that have been taken. And I met a lot of your leadership, and I see how genuine steps to make things better.
Okay.
And I do hope that the Philippines will overcome those challenges. I do see even demonstrations that are going very, very quietly, and even the trial that former President Duterte is now encountering.
Yeah,
Again, it's
the
the
International
international arena, and I do hope that the right thing will come out of it. I will mention that this president has been the first president who visited Israel in 2018.
Former President Duterte.
Yes, former President Duterte. So I'm still, I'm cherishing the fact that it's the first time a Filipino leader, and I do hope and pray that whether the President Marcos and the one who will be in the future will also come to visit Israel and to continue on our partnership.
I still have last two questions, Ambassador. We will go directly on the extra of our program. On the other issue, there are some issues of racial discrimination and some Israeli tourists visiting Siargao. Now, what actions has your embassy taken regarding this matter, and how can we be sure that this is just an isolated case?
Thank you for raising this issue, because I do think those are isolated cases that had been maybe exploited by some. But first and foremost, I want to say that I'm a guest in the Philippines, and every Israeli who's coming here is a guest here, and you have amazing hospitality and amazing, as I mentioned before, 7,000 amazing mini paradise, and each and every one of us as Israelis has to obey the local laws of the land. So if there is some misbehaving by Israelis in Siargao, I do encourage the relevant authority, whether it's the police or other authorities, to take the right precaution. And if a restaurant or in an hotel there is some disturbances by Israelis, I would encourage the one who's is in charge of the restaurant or the hotel simply to pick up the phone to the police and and raise his complaint, because then we will know for sure, and it can be investigated, and if God forbid they had done something wrong, they will be put to justice. This is the first and foremost thing we need, and on this I'm hoping that Israelis that are now spending quality time in Siargao or in other places in the Philippines, if they are hearing me, I'm imploring to them, please continue on cherishing the amazing hospitality that the Philippines is providing to you, and be the right guest and behave.
And you will not be tolerating any bad issues.
No, I'm not tolerating any misconduct of any disobeying the laws of the Philippines. This is first and foremost, and this I'm saying as an Israeli diplomat who wants to take care of every Israeli who's here, because that's my responsibility. And if there will be an Israeli in distress, I will come to his or her help. But if they have done something wrong, they should pay the consequences. That is first and foremost. The second thing is, I looked a lot about those. I saw some of and I've been getting all those tweets and Instagram videos and so on and so forth. And what I see is that some of them are ending with the phrase "Free Palestine," for example, which I think that may be a sponsored campaign. So I don't know if there are many incidents, and again, if there are many incidents, every incident, not one or 100, every one of them should be addressed. But I am afraid that it's been exploited by the news and the social media to get more and more inflammatory, and I'm happy that you had raised this issue, because I see that you are doing your job as a journalist and you are asking the right questions. I just want you to investigate and to see the source, because rotten apples can be in every nation. And I don't want that a few incidents will impact all of the Israeli tourists. There's many tourists in Shirogai, not just Israelis. We need to make sure that Israelis that are tourists here are doing what they need to do, and B, it really is not being exploited by a pro-Palestinian approach. But I have to mention a third thing is, I'm going to go soon to Shiragao to see things in my own eyes, to speak with the local people and to hear their concerns. And God willing, I can come with the stats and be equipped with understanding of what should be done more. And I can tell you that if it's a phenomenon that we have to address, I will be going with our police attaché, who's based to investigate it thoroughly. And I can guarantee that I will also address the media back home in Israel.
That's good to hear.
To raise awareness and asking Israelis, if they come to enjoy your amazing nation of 7,000 islands, more than 7,000 paradises, please don't exploit the amazing hospitality of Filipinos.
That's really good to hear. You're really a working ambassador. Now, to wrap up our interview, we still have remaining 2 minutes, Ambassador. Before we end this interview with you, I would just like to give you the opportunity to promote, because you will be commemorating the 78th Independence Day of Israel. Do you have any preparations or programs pertaining to this?
Thank you so much for asking this. We are going to become 78 on the 14th of May, this year 2026. And
14th of May, then 4 days after is my birthday, May 18. No. We have the same month. Okay.
I will forever remember your birthday now. So we know when we should meet again.
Yeah.
But so the way we chose to celebrate, every year, and you probably had attended a few of those National Days receptions in hotels and so on and so forth. And although we enjoy celebrating with one another and basically showing gratitude for the Filipinos who have been our partners throughout the year, we chose this year to change from a National Day reception and to do something for the community, because those are your president had declared a situation of energy emergency situation. Yeah. It's not a time to spend money on food at buffets of hotels. We chose to take all the budget we got for this Independence Day and dedicate it to a school and
That's
to have computers in the school. So we addressed DepEd and Secretary Angara and also Mr. Dr. Carroll, which is who's the one leading a EdCom too, and asked him to identify for us a school that is of need,
Yeah.
and we are going to do something in this school. We will invite media to be able to see how do we chose to celebrate to this amazing nation and these amazing people who are so hospitable toward us. And God willing, peace will come to our region in the Middle East very soon, and we can continue on fostering our partnership between the Philippines and Israel.
It's really great to hear those words coming from you, Ambassador. Thank you very much for gracing our program, for sharing your statements, your opinions, and your reactions pertaining some issues, and for clarifying some matters. Thank you very much, Ambassador. I hope this is not just the first time for you to visit our program, and we hope that our program will also be a partner of the Israel Embassy pertaining to the Filipino caregivers.
Maraming salamat, and I know from my end on the 18th of May, it's my next encounter, even interview to celebrate your birthday
Thank you
online.
in advance. Thank you very much, Ambassador. And to our avid viewers and listeners, thank you very much for tuning in on our program. Again, we will see each other on Friday, same time, 2 o'clock to 3 o'clock in the afternoon here on Abante Radyo. Manatiling nakatutok sa aming programa dahil dito hindi uso ang salitang homesick dahil bawat Pinoy konektado. Every Filipino are connected. I am Wedge Kujama. This is OFW Konek.